Hey folks, poor planning can really get you in trouble. I'll explain what I mean and then get into the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending May 31st, 2023. I received a call from a couple that were looking for me to help them with a purchase, but they also asked me to share their situation, their story, in the hopes that it would maybe help some of you that you don't run into the same problems they've run into. They sold their home about 2 months ago. They sold their home with an offer night scenario. They had multiple offers. They did well. They sold for a little bit more than what they estimated their home would sell for, so they're happy with their sale. The problem is that the closing date for the sale of their home has come and gone, and in that time they've not been able to buy. And when they called me, it's mother, father, and 2 children. They're living in a hotel. They've put all their furniture in storage. They're living in a hotel, and they're still looking to buy. So they called me to help them buy, but they really want me to talk about what happened to them, because in hindsight, they're not even entirely sure where they made some mistakes, why they couldn't buy. They thought they could. What had happened was, when they were thinking about selling, they really wanted to take advantage of the higher, the elevated prices that we seem to be in right now. So they sold, but they're looking to move up to a bigger home. And with their realtor back then who listed their home, they did discuss buying, and they looked at prices, and they thought, yeah, we can do this. So they sold, they did well, but they're having problems buying. Here's I'm going to cut right to the chase, the takeaways from what happened to them. For some reason, they were under a different impression that selling versus buying was going to be different. It's the same market. If you're selling or buying, it's the same market. The experience is going to be the same, but opposite. You're on the other side of the table. So if you're selling and you've got multiple offers coming in, and the next day you're out looking to buy, well, you're on the other side of the table. You're going to be one of those buyers now that's competing in multiple offers. It was fun and exciting when you're buying. It was fun and exciting when you're selling. I assure you, on the buying side, it's not going to be that fun and exciting when you're competing and you're figuring you're got to compete to buy a house. It's a whole different ballgame. So you really got to understand, if you're buying and selling in the same market, you really got to expect the same things to happen, but from the other side of the table. For some reason, I didn't think that. The other takeaway from this, and I see this happening a lot, when you're looking at your budget of what you want to buy, and you're focused on list prices, you're going to be really, really surprised that when you actually go out to buy, that what you thought was in your budget is no longer in your budget. Here, I'll give you another example. I'll get people calling me, say, Santo, can you help me buy a house? I'll say, sure. What's the budget? Where do you want to go? What type of home are you looking for? These are the typical questions that you'll ask somebody when you talk about buying. And they'll give me the information, and then I'll ask, have you seen homes in the neighborhood you want to be in that you like within your budget? And they'll say yes. I'll say, great, send them to me. And what they're sending me are properties that are listed within their budget. So I'll look at the neighborhood they're after, and I'll send them back homes that have sold within their budget, and I'll ask them, do you like any of these? And many times the answer is no. We like the ones we sent you. I go, well, those ones aren't going to sell within your budget. The ones I sent you have actually sold within your budget. Focusing on sold prices, folks, is way more important than focusing on for sale prices. For sale is a wish, and it's not always the reality of what's gonna transpire in the market. Right now, many of the properties, whatever you see as a sold price, many are selling for higher. Some situations are selling for lower, but that's what you want to focus on, the reality. The reality is sold prices, not list prices. And that's where the couple who called me made a mistake. The realtor that they were working with showed them, here's, you know, what's selling in your area, but people throw those words around loosely. What's selling is, he was showing them list prices, and they thought, yeah, these are great houses for us. This is the kind of house we want to move up to. So they moved forward with their plan. It was a bad plan from the very beginning. They weren't focused on what these homes were selling for. They were focused on what they were listed for. Just like their home, listed at one price, sold for more, well, they're finding out the same thing is happening, but those sold prices are out of their budget. So now they're a little bit stuck. We talked about reevaluating the situation, reevaluating their budget, reevaluating the type of home they want to buy, reevaluating the neighborhood. All this should have been done much earlier on in the process before they sold their home. It wasn't, and now we got to work that out. But all this could be avoided with the right plan, the right focus, the openness to understand the market is the market. This is what you're going to experience. Are you prepared for that? And do the numbers line up? If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about here, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, below this video in the description is a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Let's get into the numbers. York Region real estate, what's happening in the market? Well, week over week, if we're looking at sales, sales are up. But keep in mind, we're comparing it to the previous week where we did have a long weekend as part of that week, and long weekend sales are generally lower compared to the weeks before it and after it. So sales are up. Active listings, the amount of properties we're seeing for sale, is also up. There's more properties to choose from right now across York Region. Prices, average sold prices across the board have been coming down. Week over week, and some for several weeks have been coming down in some neighborhoods. So sales are up, prices are down. Months of inventory is also down, which is the opposite of, you know, kind of what we'd expect. If sales are coming down, normally months of inventory is going up. So there's a few things happening that are really tricky to understand. So you look at all that, you see prices are down, not just average prices, but median prices also are down. And then you throw on top of all that an interest rate hike. Let's see what happens. Whatever it is, we're going to show you here because we're watching it really closely. Let's get started. I have here Vaughan detached properties broken down by week for a whole year. So here we go. Sales have increased week over week. 48 detached properties were sold across Vaughan for week ending May 31st. 11 of those, which is up by one from the previous week, 11 of those sold at $2 million or more. So more sales, more properties at $2 million or more. I know it's only one. Expect average price maybe to stay the same or creep up. It didn't. It came down quite a bit. Average sold price is now $1,716,000. Let's compare it to all sorts of other things. Let's compare it to peak pricing, which was February a year ago. We are down 25% from when we hit the peak at the beginning of last year. 25% equates to $509,000 lower than peak pricing. I know there's lots of people saying, oh, prices really haven't changed. Well, we've been seeing the trend going up this year, but we're way off from peak pricing. Prices did come down quite a bit. Our low point was September last year. We're up 9%, whereas September, here it is, we are up 9% since September, which equates to about $144,000. If you were thinking of buying last September and decided to wait, on average price is up $144,000 since then. Compared to last year, average sold price right now of 1,716 is 7% higher than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price of 1,602 is the same of what it was a year ago. So average price year over year is up 7%, median price kind of even. And if we look at the dotted line, which is the 4-week moving average, well, we could see that median and average price have been trending up. But right about here, we're starting to see the dip where we are today, where we're standing from. And that's why I put the question mark. Are we going to continue to dip, or is it just one of those things and it's going to turn around again? We'll have to watch and see. Of the 48 that sold, 58% sold at list price or more. And that percentage is lower than what we've seen in almost 2 months. So less property selling at list price or more. More listings, active listings is creeping up. Months of inventory, here's the part that kind of doesn't make sense. Months of inventory is now sitting at 1. It's down from the previous week. It's down from where it was before. Now, look, this is not an exact science, so things don't happen clockwork. There's delays in the way the market reacts to situations. But the fact that months of inventory was going up really helps to explain why price is going down. Let's see what happens with this months of inventory sitting at 1 over the next few weeks. Here's Richmond Hill. Sales are up week over week. 37 detached properties were sold. 13 of those were at $2 million or more. Now, 13 is more than double what, sorry, not more than double. 13 is 4 more than what we sold the previous week, which was 9. You would expect with 4 more properties selling at $2 million or more, average sold prices to go up. It didn't. It came down to $1,984,000. I mean, it's almost $2 million. It's not like I'm saying prices are bottomed out, but average sold price did come down to $1,984, which is 8% lower than our peak pricing. $172,000 is about 8%. That's how much we're lower. So we're not that far off from peak pricing. Our low point was June last year. We are 19% higher, $309,000 higher than our lowest point last year, which was June. This is for Richmond Hill detached properties. Compared to last year, we're 12% higher for average sold price than we were a year ago. Median price of $1,820 is 11% higher than where we were a year ago. And if you kind of look at the dotted line, the 4-week moving average, look, it's been pretty steady for a while. Median price still pretty steady, but average sold price has been moving or trending upwards over the last month and a half. 68% sold at list price or more. That percentage, just like in Vaughan, is lower than what we've seen a little while. 61 detached we're listing. Let me go back, sorry, 1 second. We can see active listings much higher. We're at 177. A month before that, 4 weeks ago, we were at 146. We were in the 130s before that. So over the span of 2-3 months, active listings has really increased. Months of inventory dropped. I can't explain the drop because we are seeing more properties out there, and it's just really the relationship because we had such a week over week a jump in sales. It's kind of offset a little bit where months of inventory is. But 8 is the average days on market. I'm not saying the market's bottomed out here. We are seeing a change, but it's still very competitive. Prices are still you're competing out there for properties, and the average sold price is almost $2 million in Richmond Hill. This is Markham. Sales are up. 41 detached properties were sold. 15 of those were at $2 million or more, which is up by 4 from the previous week. Yet average sold price came down to $1,889,000. Forgive me, it's my first day with my new lips here. I can't seem to talk properly here. 1,889 is the average sold price, which is 12% lower than when we were at our peak pricing. That's $245,000 lower than peak pricing. Our low point was in September. We're currently 11% higher than when we're at our low point, and 11% equates to $192,000. So almost $200,000 higher than when we hit our low point last year. Compared to last year, though, for the same week, we're 22% higher than the average sold price a year ago for the same week. Median price of $1,719,000 is 19% higher than where the median price was a year ago. And prices, median and average, have been trending upwards, but now we're seeing a little bit of a dip, and let's see if that continues or not. Of the 41 that sold, still extremely competitive in Markham. 81% sold at list price or more. That's going to really feel like all of them are selling at list price or more when you're that high in percentage. 82 were listed, and if you look at active listings, look, 2 months ago we were at 112, 114. It's been creeping up. We're now at 179 active listings, and sales, although sales has increased, not with the same ratio. Sorry, this is listings here. Sales has sort of increased, actually. Listings have been increasing more than what we've actually been buying, and months of inventory dropped to 1 month of inventory. Here's condos. 68 condos were sold across York region. 7 of those were at $1 million or more. The previous week, only 1 was sold at $1 million or more. The current week of May 31st, 7 were sold. Big difference in the luxury condos being sold. You would expect average sold price to shoot up week over week. Well, it did go up, but by $1,000. The average sold price is sitting at $743,000. But if you look at the beginning of the year where we started, average sold price has basically been going one way when it comes to condos. We're 7% lower than the peak price, which is about $52,000. So we're not that far off. Compared to the low point, which was July, we're 8% higher than the low point in July, which works out to be about $55,000. Compared to last year, we're 5% lower than where the average sold price was the same time last year. Median price is 2% higher than where we were a year ago. And again, you could see average and median price trending upwards for a while now. A little bit more than half, 56% of the condos that sold at list price or more. So it's not as competitive as it is in the freehold or the detached market. Active listings really hasn't changed that much. We go back 2-3 months ago, we were in 330, 312. We're sitting at 322. It hasn't changed that much. And months of inventory came down, sitting at 1.1 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. Months of inventory came down everywhere, which is kind of opposite as we're seeing prices also come down. The behavior is opposite. So we'll see which one wins out over the next few weeks. There are going to be some changes. There's a lot of talk with the whole interest rate being gone up a bit now, and well, a lot of people expected it, a lot of people didn't. We knew there was going to be some changes, we just didn't know when. Let's see what happens. Let's see how the public digests this 0.25% interest rate hike. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.